The following voices are AI generated. We hope you enjoy the video.
Hey guys, 25 years ago, a certain blue blur, that's me, burst onto the scene. And no need to brag, but he changed gaming forever. Today, we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of Sonic Adventure.
It's been such an incredible journey. We were going to bring our 6 kids, but they were getting really needy, especially Sonic Jr. Cream and Rouge are taking care of them.
Cream is practicing on raising babies so we could have our own litter. But as for our first ever mainline 3D game, remember when we first explored the Emerald Coast and saw the Lucius backgrounds and heard the awesome music?
And who could forget the chaos that ensued? I had to find pieces of the Master Emerald, and we had to fight a water god that just so happened to be named Chaos and a pawn of Dr. Eggman's scheme before betraying him.
Yeah, good times, good times. Hard to believe that our time in the games is a long time ago. We already talked about Adventure 1 when the creator of the channel uploaded an AI cover of the diva singer Mariah Carey singing Open Your Heart, the main theme song of the game.
And now, we have a whole new generation of hedgehogs to share these adventures with.
It's amazing how far we have come. I know being a dad is stressful and a huge responsibility, but I'm still proud of being in the games. I may be older, but if I were to be in the games again, I'd be stoked.
I can't wait to teach the babies everything I know. One of them will be a cool mechanic for sure.
And I'll make sure they're ready for any kind of trouble as long as it's not too serious. If it has to do with Angel Island, I'd make sure they'd stay out of trouble.
I'll never forget the thrill of racing through the city streets while Tails was riding in the tornado. It was my plane, but after our first foray in the games, it's now his.
Well, I'll never forget the excitement of exploring the Mystic Ruins. The jungle was vast and the waterfall was astonishing.
And who could forget the challenge of the Chow races? Cream used to play the races every day and night.
And I couldn't forget about the mystery of the Master Emerald. I know I don't deal with the Emerald as frequently, since the other Knuckles take turns keeping an eye on it, and I do here and there. I was just awestruck when I saw visions of my Echidna tribe and meeting that gorgeous Echidna Tikal.
Now we need to tell the audience a little backstory before Adventure 1 was even greenlit. Remember when Sega tried to take the leap into 3D?
It was a risky move, but we were all excited to see where it would lead.
But sadly, it didn't go as planned. Sega and the Sonic franchise were cursed during the mid to late 90s according to Classic Amy's tarot cards.
Sega really dropped the ball with the Sega Saturn. It didn't sell well outside Japan.
Yeah, it just couldn't compete with the PlayStation and Nintendo 64.
And without a mainline Sonic game to anchor the system, it was doomed from the start.
We had to wait for Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast to finally see Sonic in 3D properly.
And even then, it wasn't without its flaws.
Before Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast, there was the canceled Sonic Extreme.
Such a promising start, but it just couldn't catch a break.
The constant delays and changes were really frustrating.
And let's not forget how the Sega Technical Institute was treated. It was a real shame.
It could have been a game changer, especially if it had been released in 1996 like it was originally planned.
Imagine if Sonic Extreme had come out the same year as Super Mario 64. It might have completely changed the landscape of 3D platformers.
Sonic Adventure would have probably been a sequel, and we wouldn't have had that long gap between games.
It's a real bummer that we missed out on that opportunity.
But hey, at least we made it through, and now look at us. We're still going strong.
And our current /meta counterparts are always ready for new adventures.
Maybe someday we'll even see a game that surpasses all our expectations, like a Frontiers 2, or even another remaster.
I wouldn't bet against it. But anyway, back to Sonic Adventure. It was released in Japan in December 1998, but it didn't get released for the rest of the world until September and October 1999.
Too bad the Dreamcast console didn't sell enough since the PS2 was made shortly after our game was shown to the world.
Our game being finally made was a dream come true, but the Dreamcast just couldn't compete with the PlayStation 2. I mean, a DVD player built in? That was the nail to Sega's coffin as a first-party company.
At least we got to enjoy it for a while, or at least 2 to 3 years.
And it was a great way to kick off the Dreamcast.
But it was a short-lived dream. There's always something bad and something good and vice versa.
Don't worry, Amy. After Sega went third-party, we could play Sonic games on any console.
It was a new beginning for gaming history. The early 2000s had a lot of changes for game companies.
And great ones at that. Nintendo released Sonic Advance on the Game Boy Advance, and Sonic Adventure 2 got its port on the GameCube. The PS2 and Xbox had to wait until 2004 when Sonic Heroes was made. We already mentioned these games several times in past videos. We're getting off topic. Adventure 1 looked amazing on the Dreamcast.
The lighting and graphics were top-notch.
And the performance was much smoother than the later ports.
I remember having a little bit of trouble with glitches in the GameCube version, but the PC, PS3, and Xbox 360 ports had even more glitches. At least the models of the characters look nicer.
My wife's right. Those later ports definitely had their pros and cons.
But nothing beats the original, even if the character models look older than the later port's model designs.
Let's not forget the story. It's one of the best in the series. It's a lot darker than most. The Adventure era and 4Kids era have darker stories than the current /meta era before Frontiers.
Adventure Story was epic and full of different perspectives. I had to learn about being independent, and even though my later counterparts got reliant on their Sonics again, I was a lot more fearless and had to help Sonic more than he had to help me.
I love seeing each character's journey. Everyone had their own journey and lessons learned not only in combat but also in life itself. My husband wanted to just have fun yet wanted to save the world. Tails had to be brave and be a lone wolf or fox. And Knuckles had to be the best he can be as the last echidna honoring his clan by protecting a giant green gem. Gamma had to sacrifice himself to save his robot brethren. Big had to show no fear in looking for his frog, by the way. Big's gameplay is pure trash. And as for me, I had to wait for Sonic, and I had to save myself from a creepy robot because I had a little birdie with me.
Amy sure had to give a lot of exposition, but I thought it was a great adventure, but I still have so many questions.
Like how I defeated both Dr. Eggman and Chaos?
Or how I proved I could be brave and independent.
And how I finally got to be a playable character and show everyone what I'm made of.
No, none of that. Why am I guarding the Master Emerald? And what happened to my people? How can they be wiped out centuries ago, yet I'm here?
That's the mystery of Sonic Adventure, Knuckles. All we know is that Chief Pachacamac was power-hungry and wanted to harness the power of the Master Emerald, and that water monster Chaos got pissed off and made your fellow echidnas go bye-bye. Maybe it wasn't centuries ago. It was probably when you were a baby, and the echidnas gradually went extinct like the dinosaurs, but you and your alternate counterparts are the last ones.
Sonic made a decent theory, and for once, it's not me coming up with a theory. Maybe one day, we'll find out more about the echidnas in future games, as long as Ken Penders doesn't sue Sega.
That would be amazing. Let's hope that every other character has a better backstory, or at least bringing the lore more often again since the current /meta era characters are getting better stories.
I'm not giving up until the other Knuckles and I know the truth. I just hope there's at least one female of my species so I can add a few cousins for Sonic and Amy's babies.
That's sweet, Knuckles! But as for Big and Gamma aren't with us because Big wanted to throw his own party with his Froggy at the Mystic Ruins. And as for Gamma, well, you should know what happened to him at the end of his story.
He was a good robot, and I didn't believe it at first until I played his story, and he actually freed Amy and the bird from Eggman's egg carrier prison.
It was a sad moment, but at least he saved the Flicky, especially when he said he had to save his fellow E-Series robots, despite fighting them to the death.
It's nice to know that not all of Eggman's robots are evil.
And at least Gamma wasn't as dumb as Big the Cat.
That's true. Big can be a bit unique. I still feel his weight when he bumped into me when I had a Chaos Emerald.
I'm glad I'm not as clumsy as him. In fact, the current /meta Knuckles is the only Knuckles I can think of as a clumsy goofball.
Speaking of unique, why do we have fishing in Sonic games?
It was a break from the action, even though the Chow Garden did a better job at that. I think it was because of Sega showing off the fishing mechanics, despite the fact there exist video games that solely focused on fishing.
But it wasn't a fun way to play. Hell, Big himself moved slower than Amy. Thank God he played better in Sonic Heroes.
Yeah, fishing isn't really Sonic's thing, is it? It was brought back in Sonic Frontiers and people still hated it, even though it wasn't as tedious.
Fishing should be reserved for fishing games. I prefer either going around at top speed or at least doing a little walking around the city in peace. Now that the game is now a quarter century old, I think it's time to have this game remade for the modern consoles. and for a new generation of audiences.
I hope so too, Sonic. I'd love to see a full remake of Sonic Adventure for modern platforms.
If Sonic Movie 3 does well at the box office, and if the remastered Sonic generation sells well, I think a Sonic Adventure remake is a definite possibility.
Now that would be amazing!
I know! We would either make a comeback or have the current/meta era crew do the remake for us.
Looks like it's time to find shards of the Master Emerald again if we do come back to the games.
Now, let's move on and give the fans an update on our 6 babies. They're now a little over a month old. They're growing up fast, and I still remember seeing them wrecking the delivery room right out of the womb and doing their spin dashes just like their daddy.
Yup, I thankfully lost the pregnancy weight within a couple of days, and the babies are just so adorable. My postpartum depression didn't even last thanks to Tails giving me a new vitamin that cured all my health problems, including my nausea. If I was a human, I'd have a lot of the problems still.
Once again, we may not look old, but we sure as hell feel like we're getting there, especially Sonic and Amy with their wrinkles and gray quills.
Don't say that. You know you've got a few too in your fur, Tails.
I know, but seriously, a Sonic Adventure remake could help us support these little ones. Even if we don't return in any remake based on the Dreamcast/Adventure era games, we should at least get royalty checks or residuals and money like that.
Those are good points, Tails. We do need the money to pay for my 3 sons' shoes and my 3 daughters' dresses.
As the Echidna uncle, I'll teach them how to fight, and I'll make them honorary warriors with the Chaotix if we need someone guarding the Master Emerald.
I'll teach them how to fly and tinker with machines if any of them don't have Sonic's speed and Amy's hammer skills. But after witnessing their spin dashes when they were born, it's clear as day they're all fast like their dad.
You're both going to be great uncles, and Cream and Rouge will be amazing aunts. And the rest of our counterparts are going to be awesome aunts and uncles as well.
We have a lot to look forward to. One more thing we gotta address. We're not just celebrating Sonic Adventure's 25th anniversary, but also Amy's birthday too. But my Amy right here would rather celebrate our game's anniversary, since the other Amy's are celebrating their birthdays in another building.
That's right. I'm too old for birthdays, especially since I'd rather celebrate the games in my children's month days. Wait, I hear someone.
Cream, Shadow, Rouge, what are you doing here?
We heard you were celebrating the 25th anniversary of Sonic Adventure. Despite the fact that my debut was in Sonic Advance 2, I made cameos in later ports. I wouldn't be surprised if my current counterpart would have a bigger role in the remake, if it happens.
Despite Rouge and I not appearing until the sequel, we brought some party decorations, a Chow-themed cake, and a few gifts for the babies and Amy.
And more diapers for the little ones. And yes, I sound like I did back in the spring again. Shadow was right that baby hedgehogs poop more than the average baby.
Thanks, guys. That's really sweet.
I can't believe you remembered. And Sonic needs to lay off the laughing gas.
Blame the artificial intelligence. But now, let's eat the Chow-themed cake. Now that should be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Sonic Adventure is 25 years old around the world, but it's 26 years old in Japan. We can't wait to see what'll happen next for the franchise.
I'm ready for the cake, for new adventures, and for new videos.
Just a heads up, current Rouge and Cream are the ones taking care of the babies after we met up with Shadow, the gifts, and the cake.
Meanwhile...
This is outrageous. These little mongrel rodents threw a party. Not just any party, but one celebrating one of the best games in our franchise. And they didn't even invite me. I was in my prime when Adventure 1 was out. They're lucky I can't invade, since they have their babies with them. Sage, any updates?
Perhaps you throw a party of your own, Father? We can bring past surviving villains, and maybe bring in new foes and rivals for all of the Sonics and their alternate counterparts.
That's a brilliant idea, Sage. I got an idea after our party. I will build a new egg carrier, and I'll keep it safe for the Adventure remake. It'll be my 4th one.
I know you built 2 egg carriers in Sonic Adventure, and they were destroyed. But what about the 3rd one?
I I made the third egg carrier in the audio story Sonic and Tails are, and the wretched hedgehog and bratty little fox boy ruined one of my greatest flying machines the third time.
I see. You're persistent in reliving the glory days. Very well, Father. I must contact Metal Sonic, Orbot, and Cubot to help me build the Egg Carrier Mark IV.
Meanwhile, again...
Happy birthday, Amy!
Happy birthday, Amy!
Happy birthday, Amy!
Thank you, guys. I just love we're having our little party at a garden. I love you, Sonic!
I love you too, Amy! Cream and Vanilla taught me and Tails and Knuckles how to make cupcakes for you. Shadow couldn't make it because he's still making his party with the current/meta era crew. Speaking of the current crew, they're celebrating their Amy's birthday.
I thought I did a decent job making cakes. All that's missing are the grapes, cheeseburgers, and tortilla chips. But it's your birthday, Amy, not mine.
Happy birthday, Amy!
Happy birthday, Amy!
Happy birthday, Amy!
Happy birthday, Sonic's girlfriend!
Happy birthday to all of the Amys. It feels weird not being with my fellow 4Kids crew. Why did you bring me with you, current Shadow?
Just a taste of what our party will be in October with my crew. This venue is near the Carpathian Mountains.
No wonder it's cold outside, boys. Thank you all for celebrating me. If Sonic and Shadow can be celebrated, then I should too. A year of Amy would sound dope. I gotta love the balloons, non-alcohol champagne and flowers.
I just want to say that I love you with all my heart, Amy. I know we may not show our love for each other in the games, but when Sega allows us to be a couple, you and I will get it on like our older counterparts.
Easy, Tiger. I don't want you two to do it in front of Tails.
Don't worry, Knuckles. I'll shield my eyes and ears with my tails. Ignore them, Sonic. I love you like what 4Kids Amy said in Sonic and Tails are. My love for you burns with the white-hot intensity of 1,000 suns.
When Shadow Generations comes out, we'll give the audience a taste of gameplay and a mini review of the Dark Beginning short films.
I better make a cameo messing with Rouge in one of the shorts. If not, I'm probably just goofing off as usual.
This party looks nice, but it's a strange mix between an elegant royal ball, judging by the chandelier, and a typical contemporary party with balloons, decorations, cake, and confetti.
It's Amy's party, but the year of Shadow Party will look better. See this? You can see the mountains from up here.
Okay. Now this is more like what all Shadows would have at their parties. I bet Movie Shadow would agree.
A little high-tech adds a bit of coolness, but it screams edginess. But I think that should wrap up the video. Ladies and gentlemen, we just love throwing parties, but we'll still have plenty of different videos on the way, like reviews and gameplay.
The remainder of this year is jam-packed with a variety of videos for the fans. It's that damn exciting. Go ahead and give us a like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Remember to hit that bell icon so you can't miss new videos. And we've got a lot of them coming up.
And spread the word. Check out our TikTok as well.
Stick around and stay tuned for more new videos. Since current Amy is the birthday girl, let her say it.
Thank you, 4Kids Shadow. Happy anniversary to the first Sonic adventure, and happy birthday to me and the other Amys. Peace out and rock on. This has been Quan CL Productions. The end.